Hi guys, this is Max and welcome back to Max Tracks. I hope you are feeling well today. Welcome to this series, so-called Ranking The Discography. If you haven't checked it out, there is episode number 1 who's online. It's about the band Paramore. And today we are here to talk about one of my favorite band for a very long time, and it is Nightwish. So just if you haven't seen the previous video about Paramore, I'm going just to tell you a bit how this video is going to be. So yes, I'm going to rank the discography from the album I like the less to the album I like more out of them. So Nightwish has 9 albums, so it's going to be a longer video than the one I did with Paramore, because Paramore had only 5. So it's going to be a bit longer. And to start it off, I'm going to talk about the history of, not Nightwish, but the history of Nightwish and I. And to give you a bit of a story of when I listened to Nightwish the first time and why I'm such a big fan. Let's go back to history, let's go back to 2004. So at the time I was on a forum online full of Evanescence fans, like I told you with Paramore. And I can't remember who or when, but I discovered the song Nemo, like probably everybody else my age who listened to Nightwish for the first time. So yeah, 2004, Nemo on the album Once, the latest album, the last album, sorry, with Toya singing. So that was the first time I listened to the band. I'm pretty sure I like stick only to Once and not the other albums before. But then in 2006, when the band released the End of an Era live DVD, I listened to all the songs, and I've probably seen this live almost 100 times, because this is to this day my favorite live DVD ever, with the Anywhere album of Evanescence, but that's on the subject. So yeah, fast forward to to this day. It's been 16 years that I can say to myself that I am a Nightwish fan. As of now, I've seen the band 5 times, so 1 with Annette and 4 times with Flo, so no Taya, because I was too young to go to see shows when she was in the band. That's probably one of the saddest thing I can tell, because I wanted to see the band with her so fucking much, but yeah. I was 12, no, I was 13 when she was kicked out of the band, so too young. So the first time I saw Nightwish was in 2012. It was in Nantes. So the band was with Annette at the time, and it was on the Imaginaerum World Tour. And then I saw the band at the Hellfest in 2015. So with Flo, sorry. Then I saw the band at a venue called La Arena in Paris. So it was for the Endless Form's most beautiful tour. Then I saw the band once again at Hellfest in 2018. Then I saw finally, for the last time as of now, the band in November of 2018, still at La Arena. And if everything went well, fingers crossed, guys, the band is on tour at the end of the year in Europe for the Human and Nature World Tour, and they will have another stop at La Arena. So I can't wait for this one. So yeah, that's it for the history of Nightwish and I, and I'm going to go straight to what everybody wants to. It's my opinion on those albums. So we are going to go from 9 to 1, and I'm going to start with number 9. And with number 9, we have the first album of Nightwish, called Angels Falls First, released in 1997. Mind you, this is a good album. This is an album I listen to quite a lot, but it's my least favorite. I don't hate it. I just like every song. I even like when Thomas sings, even though he hates his singing. And my favorite song on this album is the first one. It's The Oven Bath. Like, I remember the words from the beginning of the song when Taya kind of sings, and yeah, I love it. The production is not good. The songwriting is still in process, but you can see on this album the vision that I think Thomas had of his band. So yeah, this is a first, but this is better than a lot of bands, better albums. So yeah, that's why I think this is an important album that I still listen to this day. But I have to give him the 9th place because it can go higher, and every album right after was way better than the Dangerous Force was. Sorry. And now we are going to go to number 8. Number 8, we have Imaginaerum. Yes, this is my, outside of Dangerous Force first, my least favorite album of the band. And of course it's their is the last album with Annette singing, and it was also the first time I saw Nighwish live, like I said earlier. So I was quite torn doing this ranking because, like I said earlier, I like every album Nightwish has ever made. I was sure of my number 9, and I was sure of number 1 because my favorite album could never be replaced, let's say. But it was a hard thing to do, to choose who would be number 8. What I like about this album is I like I said, I like every song they made on this album, but this is probably the album I listen to the less, obviously. So doing this video, I went back to the discography, listened to it like 3 or 4 times in a row just to get my mind straight, and okay, let's see who's gonna be 2, 3, 4, etc, etc. And even though I like this album, I think it misses hits, like I can say. Even though my favorite song is The Crow, The Hole, and The Dove. Very good song. I think it misses something. And even though, like I said, this is the first time I saw them was on this tour, I can't get over Imaginaerum being my favorite album, and I'm pretty sure someone's going to be disappointed because I know some of my friends have this at number 1, but you can't please everybody. And after number 8, we go to number 7. And number 7 is the album Wishmaster. So Wishmaster is the 3rd album recorded by Nighwish. It was out in 2000, the year of the bug, the end of mankind. My favorite song on Wishmaster is Deep Silent Complete. This is very good album, but one thing is I can't stand Wishmaster anymore because of this silly video. I will get a link right there. So if you are my age and you were on YouTube at the time, there was a video, or there's still a video I think, who is using other words to sing the chorus of Wishmaster. So it's not Wishmaster, it's Fishmaster. It's Apprentice, Hard Porn, Steven Seagal. So yeah, I just can't get those words out of my head. Plus I'm tired of this song, I can't fucking hear it once again, so I hate it. Mind you, this is a very good album, I love it. But not as much as the album you will hear right after. So yeah, Wishmaster is a very good album, but there is album I like a lot more after that, so that's why I had to give him the 7th place. And after number 7 we have my favorite number 6. And with number 6 we are going to go straight from the year 2000 to the year 2020, because my 6th favorite album of Nighwish is Human Nature, the album they released about a month now. So a bit of like to give you proper ideas about this album. So this is the first time Kai Hato is a full-time member of the band, and this is a very interesting album. Part 1 is basically what we know of Nighwish from now on. It has a bit of the tools we heard on Endless Forms Most Beautiful, and CD number 2 is full instrumental and orchestral. So this is something that I wanted for a long time from Nightwish. I love the duality between the human on first part and telling all the stories of mankind, and CD number 2 about nature. I think they have developed something from Endless Forms Most Beautiful, who has like such strong words from Thomas on on how shitty we are doing this Earth or Mother Nature. So I think that's why I liked about this one. It's this one and this one was beautiful. It's how Thomas goes more into a more political sense of lyrics outside of the more generic fantasy stuff we have heard over the course of the previous first 20 years of the band. And since I'm a huge punk and hardcore fan, I love this kind of stuff, and it means a lot to me. So this is very good on my new, but I've listened to it a lot. But the 5 albums right after are, to me, a bit better than Human Nature, and probably my opinion that will change when I will hear those songs live. But we will have to wait for the end of the year, and maybe even after. So yeah, 6 is for Human Nature, and we are going to go to number 5. And number 5 is for Dark Passion Play, the album Nightwish released in 2007. So it was the first album without Tarja, with Hanete, and listening back to the album for this series was like kind of mind-blowing, because I know every single word of the songs, and I think I know why, because in 2007 it was my first year in high school, and the album came out I think in October, if I'm not mistaken. So I had to get the bus at 7 o'clock in the morning to go to my high school. It was like 15 kilometers away, and I think I probably listened to this album on the morning, on the evening, going home for 6 months. So yeah, it was on repeat. It was just in 2007. It was Nightwish, Dark Passion Play, Paramore, Riots, and it's an Evanescence. It was the only things I listened to at the time. So that's basically high school for me. And yeah, this album is fucking good. Funny thing, this is the first, it was the second album with parts recorded outside of Finland, and they recorded a bit of stuff at Abbey Road, the infamous Abbey Road studio in the UK. So I think it's funny to say on a video. It's also the first album, the first cycle with Troy Donackley on it, because that's when he made appearances live for the Dark Passion Play tour. And my favorite song on this is 7 Days to Wolves. It was hard because I hesitated a lot between 7 Days to the Wolves, I Love Sahara a lot, I Love Eva a lot, even though it's very different from like everything Nightwish has done before that. So yeah, I love Dark Passion Play so much, and I listen to it a lot during this series. So yeah, that's why the album deserves place number 5, sorry. But we are going now into number 4. And number 4 is for Once, released in 2004. So yeah, the last album, with Tarja, and the first album with bits recorded outside of Finland, like I said previously, for Dark Passion. My favorite song on Once is, I'm pretty sure, the same as everybody else on Earth. It's Ghost Love Score, because this is the best Nightwish song ever. It's probably the best song ever made. And like between Tarja and Imaginaerum and Floor Showtime Storytime at Wacken, this is probably the 2 best live version like I've ever heard. It's great. I think I like Floor more than Tarja. So yeah, Once is there. It's a brilliant album. So very, very different from Century Child. I think with this album, Nightwish broke more into the wide world, because I think the songs are more are structured more for I don't know, to please I'm pretty sure American hearers. like the previous album were more into this Scandinavian and Nordic, I don't know, print. I don't know how to express that, but I think this once is more of a radio album, if it means something, because the production is way better. It's like the other albums looks like made in garage compared to once. But I think one little critic about once, it's I find it a bit generic maybe right now, or it's maybe because I've listened to the album so too many times when I was 13, 14 and 15, but maybe case. We are going to go to the important part of the thing. It's the podium. 3 to 1. Who do you think is number 3? Who do you think is number 2? Who do you think is number 1? If you know me very well, you have to know who's number 1. You have to know. And now we're going to go to number 3. Let's go. 3, we are going to go just a tiny bit before once, because it's Century Child, released in 2002. I love everything about this album. I remember when I was in, I don't know, maybe middle school or high school, I went to Turkey with my parents for our summer holidays, and outside of the hotel was a small market, and this is the first time I bought a Nightwish shirt, and it was the cover of Century Child. I don't know where this shirt is now, since I've grown in height and weight a lot. I think it's way too small for me, but yeah, this is memories I have. So first shirt was Century Child, and Century Child is one of my favorite albums because it's number 3 on there. I like it a bit more than once. I think from top to bottom this is a very very good album. My favorite song is Hand of All Hope, but it was hard to choose one. And this is one thing about Nightwish, like for every one of my favorite bands of all time, I can pretty surely tell you on which album what is my favorite song. And the thing about Nightwish is that an album is a whole more than a lot of bands, and that's why sometimes I have a hard time figuring out which song is my favorite. I'd say for once it was obviously Ghost of Score. For my number 1, it's obvious, you know me as well, would be my favorite song. But yeah, it was hard to find one on Century Child because I love everything. But yeah, End of All Hope. I don't know what to say more. I like the production. I like the vibe on this one. I like the reminiscence of the Over the Hills and Far Away EP released the year before. With I don't know, there is a vibe very different from Wishmaster, and I think Century Child is the thing that made Nightwish put once right after. So it's kind of a bit of the mix between the huge hits and the biggest production of once and the more I don't know, childish vibe of every album they've put out before, and that's why it deserves place number 3. Okay, we are going now to go to number 2. And number 2 is for Endless Forms Most Beautiful. Yeah, my second favorite album of all time of Nightwish is the first album with Flo Jansen singing. I like everything about this album. Like I said on the Human and Nature part, what I like a lot about this one is the more political driven lyrics. Like the first time I heard The Greatest Show on Earth, and with the parts, the spoken word story from Richard Dawkins, it struck a chord with me as a punk and hardcore kid. I like that band I love a lot, and after more than 20 years of career, can go in different ways about the meaning of the songs, and that's what I love a lot about this one. And so The Great Shoners is the best 24 minutes of my life. I've listened to this song with just in my bedroom, laying on my bed, eyes closed, just me and the music, and I like everything about this one. And if I get to have an Irish tattoo, I think it will have something to do with the creation on Earth. But my favorite song is Shadow Before the Beautiful. It's Nightwish. It reminds me a lot of what they did on Dark Passion Play, and it has everything I liked, still love to this day on Dark Passion Play, but on just a bigger scale, I have to say. And it is brilliant from A to Z. It's 78 minutes of pure joy every time, and yeah, I like, so the when I saw them on this ride, like Otera Night was with Amorphis in our Academy, so it was a brilliant show because of the 3 bands, and I was with my friends, and I think it means a lot when you are at a show with your friends, seeing one of your favorite bands. So I think it gave a little bit of bump to Endless Forms Was Beautiful. That's why it's here at number 2. And if you are doing the math right, you will probably know what is number 1. And I'm going to tell you why this album is number 1 on my list. Let's go. And yes, number 1 is Oceanborn, album number 2, released in 1998. I was 6 years old when this album came out. What can I tell you about this album? I actually don't know why this is my favorite, but every time I'm listening to this album, I feel like a little kid, just in Finland, in the snow or around a campfire, telling jokes or stories. And it's kind of funny because what I tell you about Endless Forms Was Beautiful in Human Nature is that I like the political driven lyrics in a way, and what I love about Oceanborn is just those like Nordic stories, all these fantasy kind of stuff who strike a chord to the kid I think I'm still. So yeah, and my favorite song is Gethsemane. I'd kill to hear this song live, to be honest with you. I'd kill to hear it with Taya, and I'd kill for it to be sung by Flo. Yeah, this is from top to bottom a very good album. I've listened to it a lot. This is an album that get all the I don't know, all the youth they don't Anxious Force first, but without the cringy lyrics, the cringy singing of Thomas. It's still a band who's growing. I think it's not a perfect album, not by any stretch of the imagination, but what I like about this album is just it struck a chord with me, and I think that's what's important about an album. And yeah, I love it so much. That's one of the only thing where I'm sad to be younger than I am, because if I were a little bit older, I could have seen the band in the early 2000s and seen Taya and the guys playing and singing those songs from my favorite album. So guys, this was my this was episode 2 of Ranking the Discography about Nightwish. Just tell me in the comments what is your order. Tell me if I'm wrong, but please tell me if I'm correct. I'm pretty sure nobody has the same order. That's like on the 9 album scale. It's kind of impossible unless you're Metallica and the ranking is obvious. And I will maybe do a video about it one day. So yeah, that was episode 2. I think I figured out what will be episode 3 and 4, but I will do a poll on Twitter about which band do you want me to rank discography first. Like usual, I do a bit of promotion, so do not hesitate to give it a thumbs up, to subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot. I've launched a Facebook page called Max Tracks, where I will annoy you with the links of the videos every time I post them, and yeah, that's a good way to tell me if you want me to react to something you love, something you like, or rank something, or if you want me to launch a new series. Yeah, do not hesitate. Yeah, that's it for today. It's a long video, I'm sorry about that, but my love for Nightwish I had to do this. I had to do this. So yeah, guys, thank you for tuning once again. This was Max for Max Reacts, and I'm going to say bye.